Hi comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. And we are in September, and today I'm going to do my 10 comics that I think will rise in value over the next 12 months. So just a disclaimer, I'm not telling you to go out and buy these comics and then come back to me in a year's time and tell me I was wrong. This is purely my opinion. I think these will go up. You buy what you want, but I think these potentially will go up in the next 12 months. Right, here we go. And I will come back in 12 months time and review how I did on these picks. Okay, so my first comic is a relatively modern comic. It's from 2020. It's Werewolf by Night #1 variant edition. They have MCU Disney have been advertising for an actor for Werewolf by Night, and they have advertised for a Latino actor. So the first Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, is not a Latino. However, this guy in this series called Jake Gomez is a Latino actor. So I think this Werewolf by Night, you can either get this variant edition or you can get the main A cover, because I think that's good spec as well. So that's my first spec, Werewolf by Night, issue 1 from the 2020 series. Okay, next up, and I did talk about this comic in the price variance video that I did on Monday. However, I'm going to mention it again because I do think this is good spec, and you can get this comic still really low cost, right? And it's Rocketeer #1, a great Dave Stevens cover. It has been confirmed in the last week that David Oluwayo is going to produce and potentially star in a new Rocketeer movie to be made by Disney. So I think the Rocketeer is good spec. And, you know, I can tell you what this comic currently costs because I just literally bought this. I had got a copy in my attic that I've had for some time, but I saw this on UK eBay for £5. It's it needs a bit of a press, but then I think it will be a 9+. Potentially send it off for grading so that I've got it graded before the movie comes out. So this is my second pick, Rocketeer #1. It's a Comico product comic. It's got a Dave Stevens cover, and we're getting a Rocketeer movie, the second Rocketeer movie. The first movie was really good. Check it out. Right, next up we have got we had a television cartoon series on Netflix of Invincible, which I thought was excellent, and it was really well received to the extent that they have already commissioned a series 2 and series 3. I hadn't even heard of Invincible before I saw the cartoon on Netflix. But anyway, when I did, I went out and picked up the Invincible that was out at the time, and it was a local comic book day version of Invincible with a gold lettering, and then sort of copies of various of the covers from Invincible on the background. So this is the local comic book shop day, Invincible #1, and already this has gone up. You're gonna have to pay between £15 and £20 for this now. However, I think this will continue to go up. Okay, certainly when the next series of Invincible hits Netflix. Okay, now I had a couple of comics for this next slot. First one was Daredevil 9, which has got the first appearance of Echo, but when I checked, I bought it about 6-9 months ago. I think I paid about 30 quid for it. It has gone rocketing up to the extent that it may go up further, but it's gone up a lot, so I'm not including it on this spec list. This comic, which I'm going to put in here instead, again is similar in that I bought this about 6 months ago. I think I paid £20 for it, but you can't buy it for £20 anymore. This is Black Panther #2, and it's the first appearance of Shuri. Now, I've checked on UK eBay sold listings, and the last high-grade raw copy of this sold for £150. Now, this is a lot for a recent comic, but Shuri, the actress who's playing Shuri, has signed up for 18 appearances. So I think she's going to be around for quite some time playing Black Panther. So effectively this is the first appearance of the second Black Panther in the MCU. So that's £150. I think it's going to go higher. So let's see in 12 months time whether I'm right or not. Okay, next up, and this is a comic, it's a newish comic, it's come out in the last year. I really enjoyed it. I am going to, because a 5-issue series, I'll be really surprised if there's not a second series, and I'll be pretty surprised if it doesn't get optioned. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really just recommending this on the fact that I thought it was a jolly good read, good artwork, and some nice humour. And that is Shadecraft, and this is the A cover from issue 1, and obviously some people agree with me because this is now selling for £10. So for an newish independent comic to be selling for £10 fairly shortly after it came out is pretty unusual. Watch out for this one. I've got a feeling this one could be quite big. So that's my next pick, Shadecraft 1. And I will be doing a review of this later this week, of all 5 issues. So watch out for that. Right, next up. Both Conan and Red Sonja have been sort of increasing in value over the last 12 months or so. You know, there's noises about a Red Sonja film, there's noises about another Conan film. So I think this next comic is good spec. Let's see where it goes in the next year. But I'm recommending, I think, Red Sonja #1. This is the Marvel title. Of course, Marvel don't own Red Sonja anymore. Dynamite have got Red Sonja. But here she was owned by Marvel. So this is the Marvel. This is a first titled series, and it's #1. And you can get a high grade raw copy of this for £20. So again, I think in a year's time you'll be paying more than £20 for this. Okay, next up, and I think this is my 5th of these that I've done, and I think I've had a Moon Knight in most of them. So my Moon Knight for this list, because Moonlight I think is going to be hot. And you can still pick up a number of these Moonlight issues really cheaply. This one is an example. Really nice cover. It's a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Who draws Moonlight better than Sienkiewicz? It's Moonlight 21 from the first series, and it's got Brother Voodoo appears in this issue. I picked this up in the last week or two for £5. Okay, so you should be, if I can find it for £5, I'm sure you can find it for £5. High grade raw, £5, Moonlight 21. It's got an appearance of Brother Voodoo in it and a really nice Bill Sienkiewicz cover. I've got a feeling you won't be able to find this for £5 in 12 months time. Right, next up, and this is an interesting one. This is purely me. I found this when I was trawling some sellers on eBay, and I saw this and I hadn't seen it before. And it's Doctor Strange versus Dracula #1. I think it's a one-off special. And it cost me £10. It was £10, high grade raw, £10. But I think we're going to be getting the news we're getting. We know we've got Doctor Strange in the MCU, but I think it's possible that Dracula could be making an appearance. And if he does, Doctor Strange and Dracula would be a pairing that I think is entirely possible. So I think this is pretty good spec play. I've not seen anybody else mention this one. So if it does go rocketing, you heard it here first. Okay, Doctor Strange versus Dracula #1. Right, okay, next up I've got an infamous Iron Man #1. And I do like this cover. It's obviously got Doom on it, The Rise of Doom. So I like this because as you know, I collect Doom, and anything with Doom on, I'm going to go and buy it. But the reason I think this is hot is this is the first appearance of the Tony Stark artificial intelligence, which potentially could play a role in Riri Williams in the MCU. So I think this is potentially good spec. This is a pretty pricey comic already, because I'm not the first one to. So a high grade raw of this, you'll currently be paying about £25. Right, my last pick, and again, this I have seen this mentioned on another spec channel. I picked this up for a £5 last week. In fact, it was one of those bundle deals. Somebody was selling, I think they were selling 10 Marvel 2-in-1s for £35-36, and I was looking for this, and it was in one of the 10, and it is Marvel 2-in-1 with Starhawk. But the key thing about this, it's the first appearance of her. So you will remember that Adam Warlock was originally known as him. So there is a character in the cosmic MCU who's a similar type of being to Adam Warlock, who is called her. Okay, and this is the first appearance of her. Get out there, look for this one. This is a dollar bin. You can find this really cheap in pretty good high grade condition, a £5. Right, comic book fans, there's my 10 comics for September. This is now my 5th month I've been doing this. So only got another 12 months and we can review how I do on these. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. Enough said.